Колеги, вітання. Ми продовжуємо.
Greetings, we continue our working day. The next briefing will be about Minsk, Gromadske for Mariupol. 30 kilometers buffers area. View on the situation from activists from we have coordinator of civic organization Podybaylo, head of Gromadske TV Pryazovya Iryna, Perkova, and also Perkova, representative of the Central Committee of the Society to help armed forces in the Donetsk region and Mariupol. Iryna, how do you hear us? Quite well, thank you. The floor is yours. Good afternoon. We'd like to thank Ukraine Crisis Media Center for this stage, and from national media and from news, we know that what's happening there is a rotation in Shirokina, and there are so we near Spartak there was shelling I would like to say from the beginning, this is not a betrayal, it's not panicking from our side, and some commentators are trying to show this process. During the last year, we've got used to many similar processes when they were trying to take out troops, and when there was a threat of Russian forces. So that's why we went out to show that there is someone to defend in the city. Now there is one more stage like that. We have a lot of work to do, and nobody took us such tasks as supported to military, but we distract a lot of resources to show to the whole world, to pay attention of the whole world that Mariupol community is very much concerned with its security and security of all Ukraine. On July 26, and near burned city council, they put the first tents, and the temperature, I don't know about Ukraine, but it's about 40 degrees, and during the day it reaches 250, but the tent city is growing, and we would like to attract attention, to draw attention that we care about our own security. And we made several steps not to take the situation. We spoke through security service and through MPs that are closer to the president. We wanted them to neutralize this threat, this alarm among Mariupol activists and citizens who live in Mariupol, residents of Mariupol, are very interested. More than a year ago, along the whole front line, according to technology of Kremlin, local people came to armed forces and told, "Get away, to Ukrainian armed forces. We're waiting for the troops of Putin." Now, the president, when Mariupol residents ask, together with the representatives, with patriots of all the Ukraine, not to pull back Ukrainian troops because we feel real threat. And about events on the front, we find out not from news. We live in that situation daily for a year, and we have operational information from that temporarily occupied territory. We understand that the threat is still there. Minsk agreements, if someone in Ukraine gave hope to someone, gave some relief, and finally it will be over. For us, that peace never has come, and the ceasefire never has come. And even before Minsk agreements, there was shelling near Mariupol and in the region. There were more shellings. That's why key demands we have at present within our protest. First of all, we should have clear explanation. What does it mean? Statements of the president mean as a result of Murmansk fall, about 50 kilometers or 3 kilometers buffer area. We understand clearly that Mariupol belongs to that buffer area. Yesterday, the president, we made some steps, and we are trying to get some explanation. And the president told yesterday Mariupol is not covered with any Mariupol area. We take the rule and we stand that from Shorokin and I say everybody can check the system, and up to checkpoint 14, that is Mariupol, that is 10 kilometers. If buffer zone is 15 kilometers, then it means that the western line of that buffer area should go through approximately in the middle of Orezhikinsk district. It means that the whole eastern district, which is famous in the world, should belong to that buffer zone. If it's 25 kilometers from Shorokin, we should pull heavy artillery and weaponry. It's clear that all the city of Mariupol should belong to that, because that's 25 kilometers from Shorokin to western border of Mariupol. We don't have a clear explanation. It's not clear to us. But we see that during the last year how many mistakes the command of military operations were committed. And we don't want... How to explain? How can explain? It's interesting to hear those who are in Debaltsevo, who are in Avdiivka, Mariinka, Ilovaisk, whose mistakes were made in the command. Who among commanders committed those mistakes? And we don't want to ask those questions later, because we live in the city. We would like to build a peaceful life. We would like to change it. And we wouldn't like to leave from the city. And in the comments and explanations, and they demonstrate some disagreement, and I mean the command, and now the president. The key demand to the president on issues related to Mariupol, please make it for nobody to be alarmed in Mariupol. Explain to us. We are not enemies. We are not enemies of Ukrainian state, because more than a year we are fighting for Mariupol to be within Ukraine, and we believe that we defended that right to be in Ukraine and to defend. We are there to defend our city. But explain what it means to us. There is one more key point, and we see that these statements about the demilitarization of Shirokino, they coincide with such practical phenomena as pulling out the voluntary battalions. The command explains to us very easy. They say that we have to take them for rotation. And first of all, Donbass battalion, Azov, Krivbas. The second point is battalions of National Guards should, from the rear, should provide security. And on the front line, there should be only armed forces of Ukraine. We are very thankful that you brought Marines over here, but they should be together with the voluntary battalions. And we don't have enough of them. They will not be sufficient. It means we don't want to command, and we want to decide who will fight. But this is one of the arguments for that in Mariupol there is people are concerned about the security. Why? Because we know that the soldiers are for more than a year in Mariupol, and they defend us, and there are a lot of victims, and we understand the difference between voluntary battalions, volunteers, and their motivation, and those who are mobilized. And for someone it's a profession, for someone it's because they were mobilized and they had to be here in the army. So, and also it coincides with time, and that is also a concern. One more point: we want all Ukraine to know that we, in fact, we would like to give as an instrument to our guarantor this our protest in negotiations with Mr. Oland, with Mrs. Merkel and of course with Putin, or within Normandsky 4, that I would be ready to do what you want, but residents of Mariupol, residents of Ukraine, demand something, some other decisions. They don't understand why there should be that buffer area. We understand that under conditions of globalization, to our president, there's a pressure on our president. We understand that foreign politicians, they care more about their nations and their countries. So we understand that Europe is tired of sanctions against Russia as well, because some trade relations are disrupted, and we understand that they are interested to cancel those sanctions as soon as possible, and they don't care about the price. But we live in this city, and we would like, for us it's important. Decisions are important for us. In addition to that, if all who follow this, especially us here, follow the information, we don't see that any from political scientists or politicians to comment or military experts to comment this decision as positive. All express their concern. So what should we do in Mariupol in that case, if not to take responsibility for the defense of our city and to influence on the decisions that were taken? We agreed that on this in this tent city there will be no political flags, because there will be elections in the future, but first of all we're interested in security in our city, and for nobody to be blamed, for no political party to be blamed. We refused that and cancelled, and negotiations are very difficult as we expected, and they will try to have a lot of talks and little actions, and they blame us that we are panicking and then we are betray our feels, and a step and that even some NGOs in the city, they pulled back and they say maybe we are concerned too much, excessively. Maybe there is no threat and everything is clear. And but after NGOs got together, and we have a lot of them, and all active NGOs in the city. Then when we compared for and yes or against and to the defense stuff, all those NGOs came, even those who doubted that it's necessary to take such a protest. And now from other cities they are calling us, and they are ready in a week to come to Mariupol. Other volunteer organizations are ready to come, self-defense from other cities, and it's very important for us. Believe us, we wouldn't like to have such a need, very often you hear, oh, there are a few of them, they put the tents, but there are no people in those tents, you know. Let people who watch that from outside, from aside, they shouldn't doubt that the support for this protest is great, but to be on the sun when it's more than 40, there's no need. So that is just a symbol. Tent city, that's a symbol, but there is a lot of negotiations in the city, and we inform people what we stand for, and the most important, that we need the signals. We need to understand that we are not against the president. We stand, but we stand for correct decisions, because then it will be too late. Thank you.
And now I would like Spartak to say a few words, because there is also a point of view on Shirokina. I would like to say that with all the aspects that exist, there is also the moral thing. The line of front is not limited by only Mariupol. There is Marinka. There are settlements which surround Donetsk, Avdiivka, then Lugansk region. If now we start some separate negotiations about peace on this section of Mariupol, but we know now how to fight back the enemy, how to do that efficiently. Why should we surrender? We can start, and we believe that this decision has some foundation, but the whole previous period proved that we were losing the territory starting from the last summer. When going away from the front line, I was present in August last year when we were taking the prisoners out of Russian Federation. I was observing the shelling from the other side, and now I see that they are shelling at Shirokino and Mariupol and the settlements which are nearby. Another important thing, the citizens in the city have made decision that we will not surrender the city, and they are ready to defend the city outside of the city. And the self-defense of Mariupol is now thinking of how to start a fence together with the team, the whole team to Shirokino, and to be there. If the President Poroshenko promises to have this zone, then nothing will happen. If they're threatening us, then we will stand instead of those units which will be withdrawn. Then talking about voluntary battalions, they demonstrated how efficient they are. They basically preserve the country for ourselves. And now when they talk about that they have to withdraw these voluntary units, these are just the formalities. We need to give these people everything needed to prepare the personnel and to do the rotation, because even a small unit, if you take it out of Mariupol, take it out of Shirokino, then we will doubt the whole heroic deed that these people are committing. And now I see no need to withdraw voluntary battalions away from Mariupol. Because we need to strengthen the regular army. There's no basis not to trust people. All the negotiations were ending with the loss of Ukrainian territory. For me, for self-defense, for the citizens of Mariupol, there's one line of the demarcation line, the state border, Russian-Ukrainian state border. If we start negotiations, we need to understand that we will move forward to get back every square meter of territory. And also, maybe it looks like there is a big tension in Mariupol, but we have survived so many situations of panic that I believe we will be able to to get together so many people that will convince not just Poroshenko but the Security Council of UN in the fact that Mariupol is the city that can defend its own territory and can move to Novoazovsk. Demilitarization of Shirokino, I believe, is a mistake. I believe that any talks, any movements towards the west near Mariupol is a crime, because the citizens are fighting, our citizens continue to be killed in the east and the north of Donetsk and Lugansk regions, and Mariupol should not fall under provocation. Mariupol should fight. And now those who were doubting, they can take weapons, they can take arms in hands, and they can replace the voluntary battalions and the armed forces of Ukraine. Many people left Mariupol and went to different law enforcement bodies which exist in Ukraine. These are the bodyguards, and just imagine what these people will feel if they, being somewhere, will know that Mariupol, that those battalions, those forces which defend Mariupol, they leave Mariupol, they can start going back, and this process will be non-controlled and it will take us to a dead-end situation. It's better not to provoke. We need to come to agreement with local authorities. Unfortunately, they don't often understand how the events may evolve, but they should come. The previous visit of the president was spoiled because there was no dialogue. He could not have a dialogue with the military, with voluntary battalions, and with active citizens. We had a meeting, we talked to the cameras, and then that was it. This shouldn't be happening in a city which proved that it is so patriotic. It has proven that it wants and can be Ukrainian city. We are ready to answer the questions. I want to add that everything that's happening in the latest days, that is, the people want to say we don't want the Mariupol to become just a coin in a big geopolitical game, but Mariupol is 500,000 citizens who do not want to live in Great Zone or in DNR. Talking about Minsk agreements too, according to that, Shirokina and Sakhanka are to be the territory of Ukraine, and we believe it's not reasonable to withdraw troops to Mariupol. Thank you.
Thank you. Iryna, if there is any question, please. My question to Mr. Sipnov, my information agency. On this day of the city, September 12, 18 and 20 in Mariupol, as you know, there will be an international festival, Червона Рота. So, 350 participants will arrive and several thousands of the audience. Are you ready to receive so many Ukrainians, so many visitors who, because of the cultural potential, they are ready to help Mariupol? 2 weeks ago, I asked the question. Which attention, which assistance, movements from Kiev, from Ukraine, as from the government and from NGOs can help the city don't speak. Thank you. Look, as to Festival Червона Рота, I was a participant of the festival in Chernivtsi and in Donetsk in 1993, in Zaporizhia, and that's why I was happy that such decision was taken. It's a great honor. We could not even dream about that in September that festival will take place in Mariupol. Of course, we will receive, and it will. Our residents will remember, and participants will remember it, because a lot who come, they say we were afraid to come. We thought we would come and there would be shelling, but you have a peaceful city, beautiful city, and we do everything for that. That's why we will be happy, and that news would be very important for our networks and for our communication, etc. As to signals, we're waiting from Kiev and from the public, from the government. Yesterday was we had a lot of events, and one more time we heard from the governor Zhebrivsky that he believes that Mariupol, that, as he says, in Donbass, elections should be conducted in 2017. You know, you cannot do something worse even if to undermine trust to central vertical government. Because earlier we heard such messages from Kiev. Elections are necessary, that's clear. We have to respect residents of this region. If someone in Kiev is afraid that a party of regions will come to power, you need to do very little. What for more than 20 years you didn't do as in Donetsk region or in the east of Ukraine. Nobody spoke to local people from Kiev. Nobody was building party structures. Ukrainian political parties didn't have their structures here until now. We told you last time we don't know how Ukrainian political parties speak Ukrainian, not pro-Ukraine but Ukrainian political parties, how they see changes and what are the issues that will run on. So you blame the party of regions? No, all other political parties should be blamed. They're not working with local people. And also we ask one of the key demands from Kiev to explain, communicate. Don't think that we are just puppets and you can take a decision and without any explanation. Just communicate. We demand the president to come and we ask him to appoint from Mariupol and for our region his constant representative who will communicate with local authorities and also with our community, because we are constructive, we are ready to help and we know how to change our life, and we need just the support, and we'll do all that by ourselves. Just give us your support. Spartak has something to say about the support from Kiev in terms of improvement, patriotism in Kiev. Spartak is working in the department on patriotic upbringing and support. From Kiev we need assistance, not to Mariupol, but to people who live, residents, citizens of Ukraine or Ukraine occupied territories. I believe that now there should be a law passed about presumption of guilty presumptions. Someone who took weapons on the other side, presumption of guilty, everyone who's working in administration of Dina and Elena. By that law we can solve untie hands, and we could allow resistance of those people who are on those territories. Now there is no such a law, and someone on the other side who understands the danger of the situation is able to resist, but their hands are tied by legislation. They don't know what to do. They take weapons, and according to Ukrainian law, they can be punished. According to laws of Dina, Elena, if there is any law. They are also criminals. So we need assistance from Kiev in that on guilty presumptions to terrorists and supporters of terrorists. And those are those who serve administrations and in armed forces of Elena, DNR.
And why during the year that hasn't been done, we do not understand. Talking about Mariupol, one more important thing. With all the movement, patriotic movement in Mariupol, there was no rotation of civil servants. There was no rotation of civil servants in Mariupol. The chairpersons of regional administrations, district administrations are still there. These are people who participated, who organized referendum on the 11th of May last year. Without their consent, this would not have happened. We cannot talk about the mayor of the city, because that is the position which is elected, but all his deputies, there should be investigation conducted of their actions. Now the changes in the Ministry of Interior that are taking place, that's minimum, which is happening in such a period of time, and the changes are needed. So this is it. We will finish our Skype connection, and we hope to see you next Thursday. Our next briefing will take place in a few minutes.